Shall we start? On behalf of CKS Foundation, I would love to welcome everybody who is joining us right now today for this really what I hope will be a very informational and interactive conversation about all things CKSF. आप अगर चंद्रनगर से या दिल्ली से या कहीं से भी हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं तो आप सबका स्वागत है। हमें मालूम है कि बहुत सारे हमारे टीचर्स और हमारे शायद स्टूडेंट्स भी हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, हमारे बहुत सारे सपोर्टर्स जिन्होंने पिछले 10 साल से हमारे काम को सपोर्ट किया है वो भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं। टू एवरीबडी, thank you so much. So today we are going to talk about everything that makes CKS Foundation what it is, in everything from its core values to its philosophies that ground it, to the fabulous work that is happening in Delhi and Uttarakhand. And we will talk about the beautiful, amazing students who just enrich all of our learning centers, the fabulous teachers who make it tick. And we will also talk about what this year has been like for, especially for our learning centers and our students, and how CKS Foundation has sort of risen to the challenge. So I think I will now not talk so much, and I would love to introduce Ms. Ural Sharma. She is our Executive Director, and she has the lofty task of overseeing pretty much everything operationally and even in terms of the fundamentals of what we do in Delhi and in Uttarakhand. So thank you so much, Ural, for giving us your time. We all know like you're very, very busy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Purnima. My pleasure, absolutely. Thank you for hosting this chat with me.
Yeah, because we felt like it's time to just do like a fun video chat, and since in the pandemic we are hoping we will get a good audience. So I want to start off this conversation with the idea of CKS Foundation. There are some deep core foundational values that influence everything that happens in all of the learning centers. So just give us a brief introduction कि क्या है वो चीजें जो हमें CKS Foundation बनाता है.
Okay, so first of all, for all our viewers who are not very well aware of the kind of work CKS Foundation is doing, I would just like to give a small introduction. So CKS Foundation, CKS stands actually for Conservation, Knowledge and Service. Those are the three verticals where we are working. So the idea behind CKS Foundation is that we wish to see a world where nature is nurtured and where all children have equal opportunities for education and employment, and where service to mankind is the norm and not the exception. So that is our core philosophy actually, and that is what CKSF actually stands for. And our core thrust area where we are working is actually education for the underprivileged children. So our main vision is to provide quality education to children, especially from the underprivileged backgrounds, to help them break free from their socio-economic barriers so that they can rise in life and aspire for an alternative life path. So that is our guiding philosophy and the kind of work that we are doing and the thing that we actually believe in.
Right. So CKS Foundation is running learning centers at two different locations. One is of course in the capital city where we are right now in Delhi, and one is in a fairly remote Himalayan location in Uttarakhand in Chandranagar. So can you tell me a little bit about what is a learning center? First of all, is it a school, is it a tuition center, and of course if you can tell us a little bit about these two centers as well.
Right. So as I told you that our vision is to provide quality education to children, especially from underserved communities. So with that vision in mind, we have set up learning centers, and we have two learning centers currently, one in Delhi and one in village Chandranagar in Rudraprayag district of Uttarakhand. And the idea behind these learning centers is that we have trained teachers over there, and we have e-learning systems, so that we are able to provide good quality and value-based education to our children with a lot of help of technology, so that these children get the best of education possible, and they are not deprived of a quality education just because of their socio-economic conditions. So yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I think like another big challenge, especially in Uttarakhand, would be that if the founders and the main people are in Delhi, and the center is fairly remote and far away from here. So can you tell us a little bit, in particular about like what is the story first of all of that center, and what are the unique, things that have to be done from here to really make it thrive?
Yeah. So, first of all, like you asked me, what exactly our learning centers are. So, it's not a school, it's not a tuition center. How it is different is that children come to our learning centers before and after their schools. So, we are catering to children who are actually going to government schools, or a very minuscule population is going to low income private schools as well. But just to explain it to our audience, government schools usually run in two shifts, especially in Delhi. So the girls go in the morning and they have their school till 12 o'clock, and then the boys have an evening shift. So the boys come to us, go to our learning center in the morning to study, and the girls come to us after 12:30 to study. And what CKS Foundation actually aims to do is it aims to fill in the gaps that exist in our current education system. And as you know, what actually is happening is that in our schools, because these children are studying in their respective grades, etc., and teachers are under tremendous pressure to finish off the syllabus on time, and then teach them the grade appropriate syllabus and make sure that they are being able to pass their exams, etc. So what happens is that a lot of children are actually not on their grade level as far as their learning outcomes are concerned. And as all of us know, we've heard of ASA reports which tell us about statistics which say that 50% of grade 5 students can't read a grade 2 textbook, which is very alarming as well as appalling, because if that's the condition of our students in terms of foundational literacy and numeracy, we kind of failed our children in ensuring that they at least got the basics right. So this is where CKS Foundation steps in. It kind of bridges that gap that exists in the learning of the students. So we focus not only on grade appropriate learning, but level appropriate learning. So we cater to the children. When they come, we have a diagnostic test. We see at which level the children are in terms of their literacy skills, numeracy skills, etc. And then try to plug in those gaps and bring the children to their appropriate grade level, so that they have a better hold on the syllabus and the concepts, etc. And how we do this is through, we really believe in joyful learning. So our pedagogy does not only believe in developing cognitive skills of the students, but also really building up on character and motivation, and working on their social skills along with the cognitive skills, so that we are able to produce responsible global citizens with well-rounded personalities, who are empathetic, who are courageous, who have resilience to rise up in the face of adversities. And we're not actually preparing them for academic exams, but our idea is to prepare them for the biggest exam called life. So we do not only hold academic interventions for our children, we also hold extracurricular interventions. So we have theater, we have dance, we have art and craft, we have music, and we do yoga with the children, and we also practice pranic healing with the children, and we do meditations regularly. So the idea is to ensure holistic development of all the students who come to our center. And you were asking me about the Chandranagar Center. Yes. So this was more about the Delhi Center. And because in Delhi Center, we are catering to the K to 12 section. And also students after class 12 also keep coming to us. They've gone to colleges, etc. But whenever they need any help, be it academic or emotional, they keep coming back to us. So our idea is not that okay, our children studied with us till class 12 and then we are going to let go of them. We handhold our children till the time they are able to support themselves and earn a livelihood of their own. So even after class 12, we send them for skill development courses, and we send them for computer courses, so that they can be skilled enough to be gainfully employed. And in the Chandranagar Center, we are basically focusing on coaching the students for vocational courses and technical trainings and technical and diploma degrees. So over there, we primarily coach students from class 9 to 12, and we prepare them for entrance exams like JEE, JEEP, etc. So that, again, they can clear these exams and pursue their respective degrees and then gainfully employed.
So, I mean, just as you were talking,
yeah.
I just, the scale of what you are doing with the students, it is pretty massive and broad based. And what struck me was that you can't hope to have the kind of outcomes you're talking about in terms of a holistic development of a student unless your staff and your teachers and everybody is really invested at an individual level with students. Now, if anybody has worked in the education space, one knows that is not so easily done, so I would love to know a little bit more about the kind of teachers that are there at CKS Foundation, and really what it's not just about classroom में एक physics का chapter पढ़ाया. It goes beyond that. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what it means to be a teacher in CKS Foundation.
So I think the academics and everything is in place. That's a totally different thing. But I think what really matters to us is the kind of emotional connect that a teacher is able to establish with the student. So at CKS Foundation, as I told you, teaching is just not about making sure that the child actually understands concepts fully and learns them well and then scores well academically. That is not our primary concern. Our concern is that whichever children come to our center, whichever child comes to our center, the child should feel loved, the child should feel cared for, and the child should feel heard. So a very important area where CKS Foundation is working is that we are not only catering to the academic needs of the children, but we are also catering to non-academic needs and their social needs, because these children, they have really challenging backgrounds, and they have really difficult circumstances at home, and many a times they are undergoing issues which you and I can't even imagine that a child of that age is facing something like that owing to their background. And what happens is that they are not able to share those things, and many a times those issues are affecting their academic performance, which otherwise usually is taken to be as, okay, this child is maybe the intelligence level is not up to the mark, and that is why this child is regularly not performing well, or this child is not competent enough, and maybe that's where we should leave it. We should not try harder with that child. It's okay. So at CKS Foundation, we do not have this belief. We believe that every child is equally capable, and we believe in nurturing those capabilities of every child and bringing the true potential out. And how we do that, how we try to do that, is by really talking to the children a lot and really forming a connect with them, with their families, all the teachers, including myself, we keep regularly, we keep visiting the communities where our children belong to. We keep meeting their parents. We keep talking to the children, so that we get to know them better. If there's a problem at home, we get to the root of the problem. And everybody, our president, Mr. CK Sharma, his wife, Mrs. Poonam Sharma, all of us, we are so invested in how the children are faring at home, that we regularly keep talking to them, talking to their parents, getting to know their problems, and doing our best to solve them in whichever manner possible, whatever help CKSF can provide. If there is a situation where maybe we can intervene and get things done. So I think that makes our teachers a class apart, having that kind of a connect with children.
Right. I mean, that's very precious also. And I feel like, I mean, the genesis story of CKS Foundation is quite extraordinary in itself, because it really started from when Shri CK Sharma, literally from a park bench, teaching a handful of children, and now it has really grown to this. And I am sure it has not been easy. You know, sometimes when you talk about hum yahan se shuru hue the, aaj dekhiye hum kahan hai, it is so easy to oversimplify a journey. But you know, it's been 10 years. This year we are celebrating a decade of doing this really amazing work. So I want to ask, from that point of view, talk to us about the students, the wonderful students, and you know, what are the kind of transformations you've seen over the year? Is there anything like memorable anecdotally that, you know, stands out for you? Do share.
Okay. So yes, we have seen a lot of transformation. If like if I start by talking about the academic transformation,
Sorry, tough question.
no, that's totally fine. But of course, there has been an improvement in the grades, and the past results, especially of class 10th and 12th boards, have all been very encouraging. Every year, we had students who came to us when their parents come and tell us. This is not something that I'm telling you. The parents come and tell us, "Ma'am, we are so thankful to CKSF because our child had been flunking till last year, and I really cannot believe that he has scored a 70% in class 10th," and all those kind of stories. So there has definitely been a marked improvement in their academic results, and every year we have been just give me a moment. So every year our students have been all our students have been passing their exams. It's 100% pass percentage, and this year one of our students has scored 93% in her class 12 boards, and um, a lot of them have got above 85% marks, and then eventually they have if I talk about data till last year, this year the admissions are still yet to happen, but our students have gone on to pursue courses like political science honors and history honors in colleges like Shahid Bhagat Singh and Kamla Nehru College of Delhi University, and Zakir Hussain College, Aurobindo College, etc. And many of our students have now started working, and they have got jobs. So if I talk about Chandranagar Center now, as I told you, over there we coach them for exams like JE and JEE. So every year, the number of students who have been clearing these exams since 2014, the numbers have been increasing every year, and so many students have cleared these exams, and they went on to pursue diploma in civil engineering and electrical engineering, and some of them went for pharmacy and hotel management, and now they are placed in organizations like Samsung. And one of our students who did hotel management, he's actually working as a baker in Dubai. So he first started working as a baker in Tito's in Goa, and now he has moved on to become a baker chef in Dubai. So, coming from a remote village like Chandranagar, where there are humongous challenges in terms of access, in terms of the terrain, in terms of the mindset of the people, coming from a place like that, when you're able to pursue higher education and then go on to do something of your choice, uh, move to Goa and then to Dubai. So that's a huge achievement for these children as well as for CKS Foundation. So we are very happy about that. There are some of the students whom we send for skill development, like we send them to Vivo Institute and in courses like emergency medical technician, and then we sponsored them for courses like diploma in lab technician, etc. And these students, they are now like one of our students, Ashish Singh, he's working as a pharmacist in district hospital Rudraprayag, and he's been on COVID duty. And another of our students, Bharat, also he did the emergency medical technician course, and he's been with Medulance ambulance now, and he's also been on COVID duty. And these are students who've not gone home for weeks, and they have been very dedicatedly performing their duties and working at the front line. So these are the kind of stories that they really encourage you to keep moving forward in the kind of work that we are doing, because these students really make us proud.
I think anybody who visits CKS Foundation centers, I know I had that experience when I first walked in, is that even if you're not that standout student in that sense, there is every student at CKS Foundation walks with a certain confidence. They have really a sense of self-awareness even when they are talking to their teachers. There is respect, but there is no fear. And I think that's when you know that an educational institution is really succeeding in its vision for holistic development. That has personally struck me, even from the youngest kids that you have to the older kids. And I'm sure it's the same in Chandanagar as well. You can just see in the body language and the confidence and the warmth with which children just move through the center. It's really a lovely sort of experience. But now, of course, since March, the that center experience has really been taken away because of COVID and this pandemic. Now I know that even for those of us who have resources, it has been a time of upheaval. What does that do to an organization like CKS Foundation? What does it do organizationally would be part A of my question, and what does it do to the students, to the children, and then of course we can come to like the fabulous work that is happening. Because, and I want to like underscore this, जो भी हमें सुन रहा है, कि जब ये लॉकडाउन शुरू हुआ था तो बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स को टाइम लगा था टू ग्रैपल विद अच्छा अब क्या होगा, लेकिन आई थिंक CKS Foundation was one of the earliest sort of educational institutions to really get a sense of, oh, we can't drop the ball right now, we'll have to rethink on our feet, everything has changed, but we have to very quickly find a way to connect with students again. Yeah, I mean, what has the pandemic really done for the centers?
So actually, like everyone else, we were also really taken aback with everything happening so suddenly and the lockdown getting declared. And obviously, when it initially happened, we were all under the impression, okay, it's just for 21 days and this is going to pass off soon or whatever. Right. But yeah, eventually that did not happen. But still, because schools had started closing down since March, so we had started getting this feeling that, this is kind of gonna stay, and this is going to have a very, very detrimental impact on our students, because as I told you, already a lot of gaps exist in their learning levels. And not having classes with the schools shut down and with the center being shut down, and not having classes would eventually kind of take you back, because whatever achievement you have done with the students, wherever you have succeeded, and if they are not revising, if that is not getting reinforced, that just means that it is taking you backward. At a time when you had to plan ahead, and because the next academic session was about to start, and when we had to strategize about our lesson plans for the entire year and everything. At that time, suddenly we were also thinking about, okay, now what will happen to the level drop that will come, as far as the learning levels of the children are concerned. So, so that's why we, really had to think on our feet, and we decided that we really need to pivot to online teaching as soon as possible. And that was obviously very challenging, because while all our teachers have been using technology to teach the students, we have been relying on it heavily. But doing it in a center, live, face to face, is very different to what you do online via Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform you are using to reach out to the children. Actually, the teachers also needed, a lot of training, and that mind shift, and getting accustomed to the new normal, and how to actually make that shift. But I would really like to give a huge shout out to all our teachers. The way they rose up to the occasion, and like I told you, what makes them apart is the kind of connect they have with the children. So despite everybody having huge challenges at home also, because since the pandemic has set in, all of us are battling not only our professional fronts but personal fronts also, in a very different manner from what we used to earlier. So, but the teachers really went out of their way to accommodate the children's needs by, calling them at odd hours to make sure that the phone, etc., is available with the students at that time when they are trying to reach out to them, and making time for them even at night if the child is available. If the child says, "Sir or ma'am, I get a phone only at 9 o'clock in the evening, at night." So, making those kind of accommodations and being ready to be there for the children,
Right.
no matter what time of the day or how much time is required. Our teachers are always so ready to be there for our children. And but of course, the second challenge was that our ability to connect to our children really got hampered, because when children are coming to our center, that's another thing, but now we have to connect with them over a mobile phone or a smartphone if they have one. So of course, because of their socioeconomic conditions, not everybody has a smartphone. Not all of our students have a smartphone. So there is definitely a challenge of access. There is lack of access. And even if some of them have smartphones, maybe they don't have data packs, the data signals are not so strong, or they don't have enough resources to get the data pack recharged very every month, or those sort of challenges are definitely there. So this is one major challenge that we are facing right now, that we are not being catered to all of our students whom we were catering to earlier, because of lack of access to smartphones, lack of access to technology. Um, that is a major barrier, and we definitely seek support from our supporters for the same. Because it is really the need of the hour that we equip our children with the requisite devices, because in the absence of that, how else, in this situation where social isolation is also required, how else do you make sure that education and good quality education is actually accessible to our children? So that is the problem. But like, everything has its pros and cons. So the good part about technology is that many of our students, be it in Delhi or be it in Chandranagar, who really wanted to join our center, they could not come to our centers owing to the distances, because like, for instance, I'll share an anecdote that in Chandranagar we have set up a computer center with the help, with the support of ONGC. And and that is actually the only proper computer training center in a vicinity of around 36 kilometers. There is no other proper computer training center. So that has been a huge success in that area, because the youth are really aspiring to move ahead in life and climb the social ladder. And they realize that in these times, if you want to be successful, it is very important to have good computer skills and good communication skills and spoken English, etc. So a lot of students are coming to our center. And one day when we were going there, on the way we met a group of girls, and they told us that they had been coming from a village called Bhanaj to Chandranagar, and that's 8 kilometers away. And they had walked all the way, and they told us that we are just going to study we are going to for our computer classes. So we were just moved that children from there are so many difficulties because walking 8 kilometers in order to study. So if we talk about us, we feel that we have been so privileged to be able to get a good quality education and have all the resources at our disposal. But there are children who do not have access to that, and they don't have that privilege, but they really have that zest for learning, and they are willing to go out of their way and do that in order to have that kind of education. So now that the centers are not open and everything is happening online, a lot of students who could not come to our centers due to distances, and if they have smartphones, etc., they started joining our online classes. That earlier we were not being able to come to the center because my house was too far away, or whatever the reason was. But now, at least, like, if I have a smartphone at home, I'll be very happy to join the online classes. So that is a bright side if you want to look at it that way.
So I'm just curious because it sounds like all of the teachers and I mean, of course, the executive director, the founders, the students, everybody is really pushing to the maximum and stretching their limits to keep this their educational journey going. What can people, you mentioned to some extent, but what can people like us do, those of us who are watching and are in a position to support? Some people may have definitely generously supported before, but what kinds of support does CKS Foundation need, especially like for the coming year? Definitely.
So I would just like to throw light upon how everything happened in the first place. How did the CKS Foundation actually come into being, was, and especially started with the Chandranagar Center. That our founders, Mr. CK Sharma and Mrs. Poonam Sharma, they visited Uttarakhand in the wake of the floods which happened in 2013. And they took truckloads of relief materials to Uttarakhand, and when they went there, they were really shocked to see the kind of socio-economic conditions there, and they felt that while whatever they are doing is kind of providing interim relief to these people, but this area really needs some kind of sustained long-term developmental impact. And just providing relief material once or twice is not really going to help in the development of these people who are so backward. The region is so backward, the people, their mindsets, their living conditions, because they are such remote areas. So they decided, what can we do to have a long-term impact so that we are able to enrich their lives in some way. And that is how the Chandranagar Center came into being, and eventually the Delhi Center, because we felt that education is the biggest tool, which can be used to elevate your socioeconomic status. And all of us are majorly a product of our education. If we think of wherever we are in life, education has played such a major role in that. So that was the main idea of how it started. And when it started by our founder actually teaching on the benches and then us going into slums and teaching the children, because we did not really have a place till then to actually have a center. So we went to the slums and started teaching children, and since then we've come a long way. That eventually we have two centers, one in Delhi, one in Uttarakhand, with the support of some PSUs like ONGC, MMTC, etc. But having said that, as I told you, we are a growing organization and we are growing constantly. Our needs are also increasing. And the pandemic has obviously had a kind of detrimental impact on our funds and the kind of support. So we really want to reach out to all our friends who would like to support us, and all the donors who are willing to support our work, because we need your support uh, at this time more than any other time. As Because I told you that our children do not have access to devices, they do not have access to technology, and reaching them and catering to them is becoming a challenge in the absence of
Right.
this. So if our donors, our supporters can come forward and sponsor devices for our children, a smartphone or a tablet on which they are able to study, that is we also need to, we need to invest in teacher training, because I told you we like to train our teachers. And now with the whole game pivoting to online teaching, our teachers also have to learn new technologies and prepare themselves better in order to cater to children online. So we definitely need resources for that. We definitely need your support for that. And we would be very grateful if you're willing to come forward and help us in our journey, and help these children aspire for a better future.
And definitely, I mean, as you had told us a bit earlier, the students who come out of CKS Foundation definitely can steer their lives, in a better direction, and are doing great things in this world, not just academically, you said, as you said earlier, but definitely also academically, and they are just rising above and rising to the occasion. So you spoke very poignantly about the support, and I would like just say that absolutely this is the time that people should redouble their efforts to help CKS Foundation really, at least definitely ride out the storm, but also prepare for the future, so as we reach the end of our conversation, I wanted to ask you, one, what is your message to the listeners? I know part of it you have already said, but also like give us a little bit of a taste of what the future holds. This is a tough time that CKS Foundation is going through, but what is the thinking around, like, the future at the moment?
Okay. So uh, we have always believed in the power of technology, and our last year's focus was teaching through technology, and we've always used a lot of ICT tools while teaching our students. But this year, more than ever, and the kind of situation that we have been plunged into right now, more than ever affirms our faith in that belief that if technology is used in the correct way for reaching out to students and educating them, it is a great tool. Of course, you have to strike the balance. You have to know how to strike that balance so that it does not have its adverse effects. But yes, if used in the correct manner, it can actually be used to impact children in a great way. And that's what we have envisioned now going forward, because the COVID response also made us realize that how we can actually scale our work in terms of reaching more and more students and benefit them if we actually transition our model towards online teaching as well. So we have that vision in mind, and we have plans of expansion so that we are able to cater to other areas also. We have plans of expanding in the Garhwal region and in the Kumaon region, so that we are able to cover more remote locations, and wherever students are in need, CKS Foundation hopes to go there and fulfill that need and bridge the gap that exists in their education. We want a world where no educational inequity exists. So that is the idea.
Now that's a beautiful thought, and more power to everyone at CKS Foundation. We have one question from somebody who is watching this conversation. I'll just read that out. ये है Vinod Malhotra is asking, Shri Vinod Malhotra is asking, if you were to identify one single factor for your success, what will that be? Big question.
One single factor for your success, as in which is missing right now?
No, the fact that you have had this success till today. CKS Foundation has had all of its successes with its students, and they have gone on to be successful. So I think Vinod Malhotra is asking that what would you factor this success to? What reasons would you give for that, or one single reason you would give for that success till date?
One single reason, like as I mentioned earlier, I would give that reason as the our teachers, are the biggest. They are the backbone of CKS Foundation, and whatever they are doing with our students, that is actually helping shape their personalities and become more confident to forge ahead and face the world confidently.
That's a lovely thought. So I think let me just check if there are any more questions. Perhaps not. We don't have questions, but we have really beautiful comments that people have left for us, which you can see after this. So I would definitely. Would you like to add anything or any message? Or
I would really like to thank all the viewers who joined us today, and all the friends and supporters of CKS Foundation who have been liking our work and appreciating our work, and always been having our backs. Thank you so much. Your support always means a lot. And for everyone who's come forward to help at this kind of hour of crisis, we are very, very grateful to you. To everyone who will be coming forward to help hereafter, we are very thankful to you in advance. Your rising up to help a cause like this really means a lot to us, and we do look forward to all of you coming to our center once things normalize, and we would love for you to meet our children. They are all very excited to meet new people and learn from you and interact with you. That would be a great occasion. So you also get a chance to actually meet our children and know and come to our center and see for yourself how exactly CKS Foundation centers are and how they operate and what all happens over there. So this is like an invitation to all of you to come to our centers, visit us once the centers open, and lots of gratitude to you always for all your love and support.
That's a lovely note, I think, to end on. I would like to thank you, Ural. You have been very generous with your time and actually really enlightened a lot of us who we see the posts and all of the outreach that goes out, the letters and all, but I think many people, it's good for them to know even the nitty-gritty details. So I thank you. I also want to extend thanks to our founders, Shri CK Sharma sir, Purnima ma'am, Priya ma'am, and our wonderful teachers, Pradeep sir in Delhi, and Pankaj ji, and Vijay ji, Naveen ji, Arun ji, and all the wonderful people associated who really drive the engine of CKS Foundation. Thank you so much. And to our supporters, please continue to support us. And just when you share even our social media stuff, more people get to know about us, and it gives them a chance to support us and be champions for us. So on that note, I would like to say thank you so much, and I'll just read one very sweet message that has come in that Pradeep sir has just sent me from Shikha Agarwal ji, who is watching. She says, love your work, many congratulations and more successes to come. If ever you plan to open such institutions in Patna, we would love to join you.
Thank you so much. I would like to tell you that our founder, Mrs. Poonam Sharma, she is from Patna, so we can definitely envision that happening, and that's a very kind and sweet comment. Thank you so much.
All right, then. I think we'll say bye now. Thank you for everyone joining us.
Thank you, Purnima, for this lovely session. Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Bye.